Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Everything I've ever done, everything I've ever seen, everything I've lost or won, everything I've ever dreamed has brought me here to the present moment, here to a new beginning, here, and I'm seeing life so clearly now. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul.
Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Southeast Louisiana. My name is Reverend Larrye-Marie Heyl, and I'm the spiritual director here. We're so glad you joined us today. We are a radically inclusive group of people, spiritual renegades who are healing hearts and creating community. And we each embrace conscious spiritual living. Today our topic is growing awareness, and I just know that we are going to learn how to be more aware of that divine within us. So let's pray. Just taking a deep, nourishing breath. Releasing anything that's been happening up until this point in time. And just being fully present to this moment right here, right now. Knowing that all that matters is this moment now. Recognizing that divine that lives within you, that is exactly who you are, full of love and grace and ease and comfort and compassion. And what I know is that each of us is here by divine appointment. We're here to hear something in the message, in the music, in the reading, in a particular quote, something that is going to allow us to become more aware of the divine that lives within us and how to live from that place. So I am grateful. I am grateful that everyone has shown up. I'm grateful for this community. I'm grateful for all that is, knowing that in everything God exists. And it's from all that gratitude that I release these words into the law of mind, spirit, and action, knowing the truth that God's already called it done, already called it good, so I can just say amen and let it be. Let's affirm it together. And so it is. And now let's join in with the music team as they sing All That I Am.
soul. My heart and my hands are serving a sacred plan. I know that it's true when all that I am comes down to you. I know that it's true, I know that I can rely on you. All that I am, all that I am, all that I am, God, I give to you. All that I am, all that I am, all that I am, God, I give to you. My thoughts and my mind belong to eternal time. My words and my song, you're writing them all alone. I know that it's true when all that I am comes down to you. I know that it's true, I know that I can rely on you. All that I am, all that I am, all that I am, God, I give to you. All that I am, all that I am, all that I am, God, I give to you.
We're just about to begin our celebrations and our prayer time. And this week is especially important because, as most of you are probably aware, or maybe even caught in the path of, Hurricane Ida came through last Sunday and has devastated quite a bit of Southeast Louisiana and moved on to other parts of the country, creating havoc in other parts as well. So today we especially remember in our prayers everyone that has been impacted by Ida, and also all the people that have been impacted by the fires, by the water crisis that's happening across the country. What I know is that God is in all of this somewhere. So let's move into that time of prayer and celebration. So this is our time for celebration and healing. Our time in our service where we celebrate life and we pray for people who desire prayer. We begin with celebration, so I invite you to say aloud so that the whole universe can hear it, any event in your life for which you're grateful and joyful this week. And now we turn to the healing portion of our service. We're a community steeped in healing. So we pause now to pray for anyone who's not feeling the joy of life that we perhaps were just feeling. They're not feeling maybe that they have things to celebrate. And I truly love this part of our service because it's so in alignment with who we are. So let's pray. God is all there is. God is that love and that peace and ease and grace and freedom and so much more. And as an individual expression of the divine, each of us have within us all of these qualities of spirit. They're available to us right here and right now. And what I know to be the truth is that there are people on this planet right now that aren't embracing those qualities. So we stop for a moment and we create a circle of love. And in this community, we place in that circle of love anyone that we recognize within ourselves or for someone else that might need prayer. So I'm going to pause and I just invite you to say aloud the names of all of those people that you want to include in our circle of love. I know that God is right where each of us happens to be, right here and right now, moving in, through, and as each of us. And I know that the divine has heard every name that we spoke, either in our hearts or aloud. And what I'd like you to do now is pause again, and from your heart to all of theirs, just send out love, knowing that the divine knows exactly how to distribute it. And what I know to be the truth is that anything that needs to be released within each of these people is being released now, be it disease of the mind, of the body, of the soul. I know that anything that's seeking to come forth and be lifted up can be lifted up. And that this release and this lifting up is healing whatever's called to be healed. I know that each of these people is feeling more deeply their connection with the divine right now. I have evidence of that, and I know it to be the truth for everyone that we place in our circle. So I'm so grateful to know that the God without is the God within me. The God without is the God within every person in our circle, every person in this community, and every person on this planet. And I'm grateful for that power of community prayer and what it means to the uplifting of the people on this planet. So it's from all that gratitude that I release this prayer into the law of mind, spirit, and action. Because I know that the divine, in all of its wisdom, has already called all of this good. Any heavy lifting that needs to be done to heal whatever needs to be healed, the divine is already taken care of. So I can just know it's already done, say amen, and together we can affirm it. And so it is. I invite you to join me for our community affirmation. My life's purpose is already within me, and I am committed to its unfoldment. I am here by divine appointment to join in a community that cares for one another, to be in a place that transforms people's lives, to remember the highest truth about myself, to learn spiritual tools for personal transformation, and thus to make the world a more joyful place. I'm grateful to Jude Wilson for his help with our meditation today. I invite you, as the meditation comes to an end, to sing along. And in the meanwhile, just settle into the quiet. Allow yourself to enjoy a little bit of special time, just you and the divine.
Loving Spirit, dwell in me. This is my divinity. As within, so without. All I need is here and now. Where is there? Let me love. May I have no fear. All the power, all the glory, I surrender. Let it be. Loving Spirit, dwell in me.
Think of some area of your life in which you would like to grow in your own awareness of your spirituality. And ask yourself this question: what is the smallest step that I can take right now? If that step feels at all unpleasant or uncomfortable or unwanted, just take a deep, nourishing breath and move into a state of peace, inspiration, happiness, freedom. Whatever it is that you're seeking through taking this action. And now imagine what it would feel like to have already accomplished whatever area you chose for this meditation. Feel what it feels like in your body. And from this state of already having the feeling you want to have, once again ask yourself that question. What's the smallest step that I can take right now? And notice that this step probably feels almost effortless. There's no overwhelm, little or no fear or anxiety. It just feels right. So just take a minute now to feel this feeling of making decisions from a state of peace, happiness, and joy, from a state of fulfillment. And notice in your body that it leads to more of those same feelings. And as we return from the meditation, just bring back with you how that felt. How that awareness of your own spirituality being expanded felt for you. And notice how committed you are to taking that small step.
Loving Spirit, dwell in me. This is my divinity. As within, so without. All I need is here and now. Where's this air? Let me love. May I have no fear. All the power, all the glory, I surrender. Let it be. Loving Spirit, dwell in me, now and evermore.
So anytime you want to start.
The daily word for Sunday, August 29th, 2021 is awareness. And the affirmation is, the world feels new as I grow in awareness. Spending time in mindful contemplation increases my awareness of my surroundings. As I concentrate and focus my attention I shut out distractions and settle my unquiet mind. My world begins to feel brighter, vibrant, and more alive as I notice the soft sounds and minute textures and colors I overlooked before. Spending time in prayer increases my awareness of God's goodness, which I share with others when I am patient and kind, generous and forgiving. This goodness returns to me as kindness and gentleness in the people I meet, and ease and grace in all the places I go. The world has not changed, but I have. My awareness of God in and as my life has opened my eyes and ears, my mind and my heart. Psalms 119:18. Open my eyes so that I may behold wondrous things out of your law.
My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. I am getting a message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. I am getting a message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. I am getting a message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. I am getting a message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
I'm really excited about this topic of growing awareness. And when I think of growing awareness, I think it entails being alive, awake, and aware in our spirituality. We read in the Bible in Thessalonians 5:6. So then let us not sleep as others do, but let us keep awake and be sober. We must keep awake to grow in our awareness of our spirituality, of who we are and who we've come here to be. In The Magic of Mind, Ernest Holmes wrote these words: "The great and only awakening that can ever come to man is when he becomes aware of the fact that that which enables him to think, to be conscious, to be creative, is the mind of God active within him." The mind of God active within us. That's what keeps us alive and aware and awake to spirit. You know that every time I come, I have a question for you. So here's the question for the week. What's the one choice that you can make today so that you stay alive in your spirituality, awake to the path before you, and aware of God in and as your life, opening your eyes, your ears, your mind, and your heart? Let me repeat that. What is the one choice that you can make today so that you stay alive in your spirituality, awake to the path before you, and aware of God in and as your life, opening your eyes, your ears, your mind, and your heart? I said that awareness was about being alive, awake, and aware in our spirituality. So I want to start with being alive in spirit. What does it mean to be alive and conscious in spirit? One of the definitions of alive is knowing or realizing the extent of something. So when we say we're alive in spirit, it's about realizing the existence of spirit right within us. Ernest Holmes put it this way: What does it mean to be alive? It means that infinite love is expressing as form. Infinite love is expressing as you, as me, in these forms of our bodies. I was thinking a couple weeks about my childhood and when we used to go to St. Petersburg and we'd get in these glass-bottom boats and go out and look at all the beautiful coral reefs. And as I was thinking about that, I realized that really a coral reef is a great analogy for what our spirituality is like. First, did you know that there are relatively few species that are responsible for actually building the framework of a coral reef? That framework on which all these other animals and plants take refuge? There has to be a structure to a coral reef to exist, and that's why so many of them show up around sunken boats. Both coral and algae are able to extract calcium and bicarbonate from seawater and combine them into a substance that's called limestone, which is essential for constructing the skeleton of the reef. Now, don't worry. I'm not going to give you a biology lesson on coral reefs. I'm definitely not qualified to do that. But many people don't realize that everything on those reefs is actually living animals. And our spirituality is a lot like coral reefs. We need a structure to keep it alive. Now, for some people, that structure might be this community. For other people, it might be their spiritual practices. For people like myself, it's a combination of both my spiritual community and my spiritual practices. In Love and Law, Ernest Holmes wrote this: "To become alive and build the greatest lives, we must become something more, something worthwhile. There's not a day in my life that goes by that I do not take the time to unify myself and my consciousness with big things, to which I am one with all activities, all industries, all commerce." And he goes on. "Then you are one with the infinite stars in the heavens, and that is to see things. It is that in our mental attitude that decides what we are to become, and nothing else." So how do we unify ourselves with big things? When you see a coral reef, it might look like one big plant, but everything around that coral reef is moving and growing. A lot of animals make up that reef. Some really latch on to it, other ones swim through and use it for cover. But the coral and the algae are the basis of the structure. You know, they actually shed their skeletons and recreate themselves, becoming new again. And I think like us, sometimes we have to shed the things that aren't working for us and recreate ourselves, moving to some higher level of consciousness. Our meditation song today and the opening song, All That I Am, remind us that all that we are is part of this one big life. A loving spirit dwells in us. Michael Beckwith said this: "God has a gift to give the world as you, beyond what your surface mentality may sometimes see. So when you commit to discovering and expressing your faculty of divine creativity, what emerges is living and expressing from a deeper dimension of your being. When we commit to fully stepping into our own divine creativity, what emerges is something deeper within ourselves, something at a higher level of consciousness. And once we become alive, we attach ourselves to communities or to others, and they give a stability to our spirituality. So how do we stay awake in this growth? Awake means to cease sleeping, to become aroused or active again, to become conscious or aware of something. To be awake in spirit means to become consciously aware of the spirit that's within each of us. We are a part of this big whole universe, of this divine order of the world. Each of us has our part to play. We're part of that one life that's God's life, and that's our life, that unity of being. And it's up to you. Ernest Holmes wrote this: "We try to awaken man to an inherent divinity and perfection which is in every living soul. Our whole process is an awakening. The spiritual nature never sleeps, and something in you and in me senses that imprisoned splendor." I don't know about you, but I don't want my splendor to be imprisoned. Did you know that coral reefs actually flourish even though they're surrounded by ocean water that provides very few nutrients for them? They flourish because each part of the reef contributes. Some depositing skeletons to the reef, and so that the reef can be firmly rooted. Others move in and out and bring or deposit some things that are needed. But each thing that's part of the reef is part of that whole and is necessary for the reef to thrive. When we're awake in spirit, we're conscious of being a part of something bigger than we are. We're conscious of being awake to the knowing that everything we need is right where we are. Everything we need is right where we are, and we can thrive no matter what. I doubt that the coral reef gives much thought to the fact that it might not thrive, because there is an essence in that reef of that structure that allows it to thrive, even among ocean water that doesn't provide it very many nutrients. Can you imagine what the world might be like if everyone believed that everything we need is right where we are, and that we could thrive no matter what? And if we believe that to the same extent that we believe that the sky is blue, or that healthy grass is green, or that sugar is sweet, snow is white, we don't question those things. Why do we question that everything we need is right where we are, when our philosophy tells us that the divine provides for us? It is God's great pleasure to give us the kingdom. What happens when you become awakened to the divine nudge and truly rooted in the knowing that you can thrive? Even when you might be surrounded by oceans of beliefs or people that don't provide you the nutrients that you would like, or don't have the, or that perhaps are not like-minded. Imagine life knowing that your divinity is as deeply rooted as you know that sugar is sweet. In The Science of Mind, we read that the universe is a spiritual system impregnated with divine ideas and peopled with spiritual forms. The ideas of God are perfect laws on their way to producing complete and perfect effects. The universe is alive, conscious, awake, and aware. It is love and life. It is law and order. It is a cosmos. Love and light, law and order, a cosmos. Once we're alive with spirit and awake to spirit, it's time to become aware of how spirit shows up within each of us. on this planet. It's time to listen to those divine nudges that we often ignore. I know I'm guilty of that. Aware is defined as having or showing realization, perception, or knowledge. Being aware in spirit means that we have a realization or a knowledge of who we are, of how spirit is dwelling within us. Loving spirit, dwell in me. That's what we said during the meditation. This is my divinity. And what it is that loving spirit is a part of the ecosystem of our own spirituality. The first words of the Dhammapada, which are the sayings of Buddha, are these: we are what we think. All that we are arises from our thoughts. With our thoughts, we make the world. Well, it's certainly true that with our thoughts, we make the world that we see. Wow. Now that statement could either be a burden or a joy, depending upon your awareness level. When we become aware enough to know that we're divine, it's certainly a joy to know that our thoughts make up our world. In the reading today, we heard these messages, and I think they're worth repeating. Spending time in mindful contemplation increases my awareness of my surroundings. Spending time in prayer increases my awareness of God's goodness. My awareness of God in and as my life has opened my eyes, my ears, my mind, and my heart. You know, there was a young man, and he was an apprentice to Nan. And after 10 years of apprentices, this young man, Tenno, achieved the rank of Zen teacher. And one rainy day, he went to visit the famous master. And when he walked in, the master asked him a question. Did you leave your wooden clogs and umbrella on the porch? Yes, Tenno replied. Tell me, the master continued, did you place your umbrella to the left of your shoes or to the right? And it was then, when Tenno did not know the answer to that question, that he realized he had not yet obtained full awareness. So he became Nan's apprentice for yet another 10 years. It's amazing sometimes, I think, how we move through our daily lives and we're very unaware of some of the things that are happening right around us. Let's get back to that reef for a minute. Did you know that in the reef, some animals just swim through and they use it for cover? And I suspect that there's times in our spirituality that we're just swimming through life, not truly aware of our spirituality or the way that the divine shows up in our lives. And yet, we're using our spirituality to help us move along. There are other animals that attach to the reef and anchor themselves and become rooted in it. As we become more alive and awake, we become more aware of how being rooted in our spirituality, having spiritual practices be a part of our daily lives, helps us to find our joy and our peace and our freedom. When we're anchored in our spirituality, we know who we've come here to be. Spirituality is a lot like muscles. They require attention to grow. And if we were going to the gym to build muscles, we'd have to practice a lot. We'd have to make a routine. The same is true, I think, with our spirituality muscles. We need a routine. We need to learn to practice and to have a consistent practice. I know that there are days when I get up in a rush and I don't spend as much time on my spiritual practices as I would like. And if I fail to get centered at the beginning of the day, then if I have things that are going wrong, I don't handle them as well as I do on days when I take the time to center myself in spirit when I wake up. We can go through having these human experiences being very difficult, or we can wake up every day and just ask Spirit to be our guide, to let Spirit's light go before us in everything we do. Ralph Waldo Trine, in Tune with the Infinite, said this: "Within yourself lies the cause of whatever enters into your life. To come into the full realization of your own awakened internal powers is to be able to condition your life in exact accord with what you would have it be. To come to the full realization of your own awakened interior powers is to have your life be what it is you want it to be. When I feel to be alive, awake, and aware to my interior powers, my life is not nearly as good or as God-filled as it would be when I know that what lies within me, that my own thoughts are deeply rooted in spirituality. Sometimes we're just swimming through, and other times we really need to learn to be rooted, to use that spiritual reef so that we're definitely knowing who we are and what we've come here to be. Do you want to contribute to the beauty of your spiritual reef? I'm sure you do. So remember to be alive in spirit, to be awake in spirit, to be aware that who you are can thrive no matter what. This week, think about the role that you want to play in the coral reef of your spirituality. Do you want to just be passing through, enjoying the structure for a little while that other people have built? Or do you want to become a part of something bigger than you are and shine for everyone else to see? Do you come and go? Or do you definitely want to be rooted in spirituality? Chris Michaels said this: "The kingdom of heaven is a state of consciousness of self-awareness. It's a place we arrive at in consciousness when we are aware of our oneness with life." So what's the one choice that you're going to make today? To stay in your spirituality, to stay awake to the path before you and aware of all that is, aware of all that is, aware of God in and as you, opening your eyes, your ears, your heart, and your mind. Thank you very much. Have a great week. So I'm especially grateful for all of the offertory blessings that are coming in, for all of the people that are sending in their checks or meeting us through PayPal or some other means. It is keeping us alive, aware, awake. So thank you.
From the love of your spirit within me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal, bless, and prosper. It does good work in the world and returns to me, multiplied abundantly. From the love of your spirit within me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal, bless, and so it is, and so it is, and so it is.
You can find all of the information for donating at our website at CSL Southeast LA.org. You can use the donate button there, or you can use Zelle or Venmo at 225-287-8887. You can text your amount to 1-225-320-5100. Or you can mail your donation to CSL Southeast Louisiana, care of Reverend Larrye-Marie Heyl, 445 Magnolia Wood Avenue, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, 70808. We thank you for your tithes and donations, and we appreciate the fact that you are giving gifts that are flowing out to everyone we touch. So this song that you're about to hear is all about being alive, awake, and aware to grow our spirituality. Because when we want to grow, we have to be still. So Jude Wilson is singing, I Need to Be Still.
I need to be still and let God love me. I need to be still and let God love me. When this old world starts to push and shove me, I need to be still and let God love me. Need to relax and let God take over. I need to relax and let God take over. He'll take this load off of my shoulders. I need to relax and let God take over. When there's trouble all around me and my soul cries out for rest, when I'm feeling that I'm failing, even though I've done my best, when decisions are so heavy and there are answers that I need, I know it's time to just be still. Let God love me. I need to be still. Let God love me. I need to be still and let God love me. When this old world starts to push and shove me, need to be still and let God love me. I need to be still and let God love me. I need to be still and let God love me. When this old world starts to push and shove me, to be still and let God love me.
Next week, we're going to be starting a series on living the science of mind. It follows a book of Ernest Holmes called Living the Science of Mind. So I hope that you'll try to get a book and follow along. And I will be posting some of the information about what to be reading each week and giving you more details about the series as we move through it. I hope you'll join us. Thank you for joining us today. We invite you to like us on Facebook at Center for Spiritual Living Southeast Louisiana and follow us on YouTube. Our channel is CSL SELA. You can also join us for our community time. You have a little bit of time to go grab coffee or tea and maybe a snack. Then dial in and join us for a live discussion. The conference line, which we use every week, is 515-604-9000. So put it in your phone with the participation code 475220. We begin with the discussion of the service and follow up with a process to help you dive more deeply into the concept of the day. We hope you'll join us. So in closing, just let me remind you that Disney claims to be the happiest place on earth, but we at the Center in Southeast Louisiana know that we are absolutely the most joyful. Until we meet again, may you be wrapped in the arms of loving kindness, and may you live from that point of growing awareness of the spirit that lives within you. Because I know when you do that, you feel very much alive.
Alive, alive, alive forevermore. My spirit is alive, alive forevermore. Alive, alive, alive forevermore. My spirit is alive. Sing hallelujah, sing hallelujah. My spirit is alive forevermore. Sing hallelujah, sing hallelujah. My spirit is alive. Alive, alive, alive forevermore. My spirit is alive.